He has a dummy.
Here comes Ben. Here he comes. We're all here already.
Fine.
Great.
Yeah, it's
On speed dial there.
Excuse me, Pete?
Poison control.
Do we have James too?
I
You
was
were
boosting off my phone last.
You were using it as a hotspot?
He was boosting. He was boosting.
Check.
What
Yeah.
the fuck is boosting?
Boosting, you know, like
What the
boosting.
fuck did I walk into?
I don't even know, James.
That's how we're supposed to take Tulsi seed? I thought you put it in your mouth and ate it. I mean, I could have keistered it and then given you that sample, but I don't think Rolen would have liked that one.
Yeah, we're hooping the Tulsi from now on.
Let's get into it. D&D 64. So we pick up with the adventurers scurrying down the trunk of this great tree, and after they've steadily climbed down about 80 feet of ladder, they reach soft ground, covered in fallen leaves and nettles and making a cushioned bed underfoot. The damp, sweet smells of earth and plant life surround them, and the forest floor is muted and quiet, in contrast to the chaos that they just left. Lucas speaks up. Ye gods, I never thought I would set my own city alight.
It was an excellent distraction.
Lucas rounds on Artemis. You! I scrambled up in the roof to see you calmly strolling into the council seat. What by the great trees were you thinking?
None of that matters anymore. Do you have any Tulsi seed, yes or no?
I always keep some on my person.
I take one and immediately start eating it for real, and then I turn to Bolo and I'm going to say, Erasmus wants you to have this.
Oh, I'm not going to eat it. We have to
Why
get
not?
to this resistance so we can crush them for our lord. Crush the
before-
resistance.
Did Lucas react at all to him saying we're going to crush the resistance?
Slow descending horror.
This stuff, he holds up the Tulsi seed, this will enhance your abilities. You want to kill the resistance, don't you?
Persuasion check versus an insight check. Convincing that.
Never mind.
I'm trying to be
Bolo
persuasive.
immediately grabs it out of his hand and snorts it and hoops it mightily.
Wait. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Nice.
My head is clear again. I can't
Yes,
believe I was a willing dupe of that Princy boy, Erasmus. We must go crush his throat.
We need to get
Good
away
man.
from here. Post haste. Your bloodlust will definitely be sated.
The resistance meeting point is about a mile north of here. We should certainly hurry. Book it! Yeah, the party sets off at a run. Lucas pauses, holds up his arms. Do you feel that?
I brace myself for what I do not know. For a
Right, we'll
battle,
move maps here.
apparently. Got a new battle map here to fight on.
Damn it! I should stop typing in battle map. Get maps.
This is a map of Southern Ontario.
Shy Hulud.
Yeah. Yeah.
The ground below Rolen erupts, and Rolen, you're going to be sent flying about 10 paces yonder. From the hole, this massive insectoid-looking creature with these huge pincer-like claws and large mandibles on its face, erupting out of the dirt, screeching in rage.
What is it, Rolen?
I've never seen a creature like this.
And Rolen manages to scramble to his feet quickest.
Shoot for the head and one of the eyes.
One of its larger of several
yes.
dozen eyes on its face pops with his arrow protruding out of it.
Ew.
And
That's
Rolen,
in
you-
character. Ew.
All right, it'll be Artemis' turn.
Yeah.
Right hand on his staff, left hand extended. Simanire. He fires a mind sliver. Ooh. As I fire that off, I step fully behind Bolo, give him a gentle push in the back, the small of the back. Off you go.
It's Bolo's turn.
Feeling the gentle nudge in his low back, Bolo throws himself into a rage, drawing his long sword as he does so, and he will take a running, two-handed, downward stab towards its face. Ooh.
Bam! Fuck, so what? That's like 29 damage? Bolo just fucking like drives the entire length of the longsword down through its head. It comes out under its jaw and then pierces into its abdomen. A waterfall of bug guts just soaks Bolo.
Artemis is going to drop down to the ground and feel the ground and see if he senses any more tremors.
Another tremors like coming off to his right.
More on the way, boys.
Lucas goes catapulting 15 feet towards this tree.
Hilarious. Poor guy.
This thing comes out of the ground, pivots to look at Lucas, and screaming bears down on him. Do
We've
this.
got to
Poor
remember to
guy.
get the rest of the Tulsi off of his corpse.
Oh, nice. Oh, Jesus. Crushes him in this vice grip, and Lucas just like, ah! Like some blood spewing out of his body as his
Oh,
body's like
jeez.
crushed to almost breaking, screaming in pain, being held by this vice grip of this creature.
God
I
damn.
shout out, Lucas!
Roland is going to fire an arrow, aiming for its joints.
Whoa.
Zing! Nice shot, Red 2. Roland like tears its arm partly off, and it's lost its grapple on Lucas.
Artemis is going to shout, Uriah! Fire a firebolt at him.
Screeches and flails in distress at this fire getting on it.
I'm going to go right up behind Bolo again and again, push him in the small of the back and be like, get at him!
Bolo will follow the push and drive with his longsword towards the wounded section of carapace that Roland's arrow had punctured.
Nice.
Guts.
Gutsu.
Oh, I'm definitely gonna need a new tunic now.
It crashes to the ground, guts spilling out onto the ground.
I think we're in the clear for now.
Lucas, you ever see one of these beasties before?
Lucas, looking up, proffering up his arm for Bolo, maybe to haul him up,
Which he does.
regains his feet. The large slash across his chest, faintly glowing with the healing energy from Roland, saying, God's blood, I've never seen a creature like that, even in my darkest fairy tale nightmares. Roland, you maybe think you might have read about a creature such as this. Fairy tale sort of stories about the insectoid creatures called onkegs, infernal burrowing beasts, but they're supposed to be fables.
We should move quickly from this area.
Artemis sitting cross-legged with his notebook open in his hand and like trying to do a drawing of the Ankeg, his mage hand now like lifting up and like manipulating parts of the corpse so that he can like try to make like detailed notes about it.
Let us leave this place. He takes a couple steps, beckons on to make sure the party members are close next to him as he runs off northward.
Artemis will flip open his book and continue writing notes about the experience with the Ankegs.
Just like a trot, like a running
Or
journal
are we
trot.
running?
It's an adventuring pace. It's the Legolas and Gimli and
Okay, then
Yeah.
yeah, no,
Artemis
he's still
is
writing in
just
the book. You know what? He's running, and the mage hand is holding the book, and it's perfectly gyro stabilizing the book to his movement, so he's able to write in it as they run.
boss. Oh yeah.
Nice. Yeah, they run northwards into this press of trees and the like. Lucas comes to a large tree, plonks himself down at its trunk. This is where I told the resistance to meet. They should become aware of our presence and join us. We are certainly on a greatly accelerated timeline than I anticipated. I signaled the resistance that they should meet with me later today once I'd secured the women. I was supposed to secure the women and Lucas just kind of shakes his head. When I clambered onto the roof of Sothis and saw what Master Artemis was doing, I had to act. I told them to stay in Sothis and I fled.
Oh dear.
That's a loose end that should have been tied up.
Bolo is choking on indignation and sputtering. We could be crushing the life out of Erasmus right now. The maidens are in danger, bloody flecking block dagger. He's kicking dirt. Oh, you can't be serious, boykies. We really gonna wait here? I say we head right back to the council now.
Bolo, we would be walking to our demise. At this point, he will almost assuredly be preparing some defenses against our return. So when we go back, it needs to be en masse, on force, and ready to deal with it.
Roland has drawn aside, sat down cross-legged, closed his eyes, and he's going to cast Primeval.
Where they were in Thutarati, a burning bright darkness sitting right at the top of where the council seat would be. And it's, oh no, did we lose him?
Pete!
It's Pete's badass primeval awareness.
Now it's our badass primeval awareness.
There he is.
I love it.
Yeah, my next
What?
about that.
What?
It's okay.
You see this like scary, like psychotic staring Pete. He's just staring into my
That's
soul.
so creepy. Oh my god. I think Pete's still
Yeah.
fucked. You're a little
Can you guys hear
fucked up,
Pete?
Pete. I don't know if he knows that you're speaking. I mean, uh-oh. Is my brain dying?
Was that last toke a toke too far?
Maybe.
One toke over the line.
2 tokes over the line.
No.
1 toke over the line.
No.
Coming to, he'll take a moment to calm himself and then stand and approach Lucas. There is great evil to the northwest.
The coast of the country is in that area. There's nothing but wilderness there. There was an old port that used to service some trade from London Mar, but it's been abandoned for years.
I think it's become active again. We should investigate.
Lucas, making himself look busy, impatiently mutters to himself, bloody Maylene and her sister haven't even shown up yet. This is unacceptable. Bolo becomes aware of these 2 presences marching southeastward towards where they are. The 2 individuals are coming closer, and Artemis becomes aware of these 2. So there's this tense moment where we see Rolen stalking these 2 as they're coming from the thick underbrush towards Lucas in the clearing. These 2 figures come out of the forest, and
You know these 2, says Roland as he is right behind them.
Materializes.
You know these 2?
Lucas, you have brought the travelers? Indeed, the proficient ranger behind you is Rolen. This formidable towering individual is Traveler Bolo, and this is a traveler of arcane proficiency, Master Artemis. I am Maylene, and my sister is Taliel.
I don't recognize either of these 2, do I?
You don't, Artemis. Nope.
I know anyone from my time in this town. Everybody's different.
They're
Well,
all dead.
After Dakos.
We should make our way to your camp.
I do hope there are more of you. This delay in killing Erasmus better be worth it.
She slightly nods and then just about faces, grabbing Taliel's arm and starts walking off towards the north.
What is your resistance number?
You mean the strength of our force of arms? Well, we may be few, but we're mighty.
Very good, miss. What's the number of fighting men that you have?
6 of us in the resistance.
Artemis is going to stop mid-stride, blink dumbfoundedly, and look at Bolo.
Artemis, Rolen, this is nonsense. We should have gone dick there and wrung Erasmus' neck like I said in the first place.
We have nothing to lose by continuing to the camp for now.
The party's been continuing walking, and suddenly Maylene gives a McKeekberg whistle, or whatever. Artemis knows what it sounds like.
We never
Yeah,
did hear that
no,
McKeek bird.
As she
Look
steps
over
around the trunk of a large tree.
Oh my god.
The party makes out a small camp set amongst the trees. A few tents, cook fire, rough seats fashioned out of logs comprise the Cenerian Resistance's camp. They see 3 men engaged in quiet discussion. In the middle of the group is Dakos of Thutaradia. Ah, pupil, you've arrived. Sit there. And he just continues on his conversation.
My name is Roland of The Rangers, we were drawn to Thuthuratia and ensnared by Erasmus's charm.
Oh, enough of this Elven nonsense. Let's just go kill Erasmus and I.
Indeed, perhaps the eradication of Erasmus will alleviate our other problem.
Ha! Erasmus, tfu, and spits on the ground. I'd prefer to call him by his pathetic, cowardly name, Tylene. Nothing but an upstart, and now an upstart enthralled to a demon with more power than he knows what to do with. An idiot! The situation is fairly simple from my perspective. You will assist me in enacting a plan to drive Tylene over the waterfall like he did my colleague years ago.
Now we're talking. That's what I like to hear.
Thus, the House of Cards falls.
Will this dissipate the power over the army of the dead, which is bolstering the Morgax's numbers?
Yes, it will. For the spirit has some direct connection with the undead.
They're amassed to the northwest.
To the northwest, there is an abandoned port. We are low on provisions. I know for a fact there are provisions at the port.
So you're suggesting we continue on to the port, provision the camp, and then turn our attention to de-seeding Erasmus.
Artemis, you gotta talk some sense into them. Now we just attack tonight. You men are not gonna starve to death. Besides, they're just fodder for Erasmus archers anyways.
Artemis is going to shoulder his pack, stand up, and just start walking.
It's madness, Artemis. If we liberate the city, they won't need provisions. Bolo reluctantly follows. He's going to look at Dakos and point at him and say, "Are you gonna ask for your full tummy, old man?"
Had a feeling if Dakos was sending us here, it was for more than just provisions. And yes, while he can appear to be harsh, if you listen, the lessons that he has to teach are of great significance.
Magical items, for example,
Ancient artifacts created when the world was young, when magic flowed more freely and artificers felt more restraint in their magical creations. Less rods
heard
which
of
were so powerful
pieces,
they had to be
each one of
broken
those
apart,
7
viewing the
fragments
user with
still
incredible
gauntlets
power.
which bring entire
stars
down
I've
to
heard
feed
of
our
bands
sky
of
and draw
intellect,
and
goggles
could
that
imbue even
reveal
Bolo with the
individuals'
ability to
undergarments. I mean,
cast
incredible
great
things.
spells and
Oh, look at
work
that.
great.
We're here. I didn't
Get
even notice
match-
the
yeah.
time fly by.
That's a good segue. As Artemis's monologue was kind of stretching on, Roland, tuning his ear to the forest, was cognizant the familiar rustling sounds of underbrush and insects chattering in the forest were clearly absent.
we need to be wary here.
They come up against some tall outbuildings on the southeast corner of the port that block their view for the rest of the wharf and the seawall. The port is eerily quiet.
Oh, Rolen, you could scramble up there.
While you're doing that, Roland, if I can have 10 minutes, I would like to cast Detect Magic as a ritual so that I can start looking around us for magic items.
All right, go ahead. Have fun, Rolen. I'll watch your back, Artemis.
Alrighty. Well, I'll go up and have a look.
It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. From his vantage point on the roof, he gets a glimpse of a mass of undead congregating on the wharf.
20, 10, 20.
This many.
Oh, a lot.
All right.
And a ship moored in the dock, packed. Bow to stern, port to starboard, packed with undead.
Oh dear.
You hear some shouting from the prow of the ship. Feels like the voice is kind of familiar.
Is the ship familiar? Is that my ship?
He realizes it's the Quiet Maiden.
Man, Roland just wants to jump off the roof and jump into that horde and start slashing. So Roland's going to return to the edge of the building and
Whippoorwill.
Hey, you guys!
and Roland is furious. My ship is over there, and it is full of the dead. I fucking hate the dead. I'm going to try and get a closer look of the ship.
Good luck to you, Roland.
So you gonna just start rolling a new character now there, Pete? Or?
And see if we can get into these warehouses.
So for 10 minutes, I can detect magics.
He feels a magical presence in the building north of their position. There are no windows in the outbuilding, but he achieves the door and finds it bolted locked.
All right. No, can't get in that way.
We'll just smash it
Magically.
down, Pete.
Like you do with all the other
yeah,
doors.
work the old.
Roland's going to sneak back. That fucker Matzo's on that ship.
Did you get into that room? Did you get the magical item?
The door is barred. It's locked. I could not break in without drawing attention to myself.
Artemis is going to move down to this building. Fuck.
Yeah, Artemis remaining hidden
Fuck.
is able to work his thieves' tools and throw the latch on the lock of the door.
I slip into the building and close it gingerly behind me. Do I see an aura?
He can see a small ring shape. Artemis is able to quietly move the barrel that's in the front of it and pull out this small jewelry case.
Okay, back to the door and then out and back to his friends. I'm going to crack open the box and peek in.
On some dark purple velvet, a small band with black and white serpentine lines that twine around the surface.
Artemis puts it in his bag and says, well, there'll be time to identify that later. While you were scouting, Roland, did you see any supplies? Roland? The provisions? The provisions, Roland. Roland. I wave my hand in front of his face. Roland! My God, the magic's gotten to him now.
Did you see any provisions in the building?
I don't have your magical elf eyes. Do you want me to just cast some light and maybe draw the undead to us?
Well, there's just the one other building left now.
The one we're hiding behind?
Now, Doofus, the other one that you explored with the locked door. Brainiac.
Oh, well, the door is exposed to the port. It's out in the open.
Bolo, can you get down in a crouched position?
Bolo will warily take a knee.
I'm going to attempt to cast Minor Illusion. A crate appears around where Bolo is.
Dun 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 dun.
Nice.
Box here.
He's solid snaking it in an illusory box.
Matos and Dan, those fucking traitors.
Curb your
The night,
bloodlust, Roland. You're fixated on these two sailors we had very brief interaction with.
While they're discussing, Artemis is going to try to stealth away from them and bring himself up to the corner here. He drops down on all fours, and Army Man crawls over towards the door. And he pulls out his thief tools and begins to work. Open the door and slide on in. Roland, get in here.
Roland will just appear at Artemis's shoulder. What is it?
Where is
drugs?
The magic item should be in here. Help me look.
What am I looking for?
Magic, he says, spreading his hands, jazz hands like.
He just hears outside the voice of Matzo say, "And what the fuck are you looking at?" Cut to black. Yes, we'll close on that. Roland casting about in this building, hearing this loud voice outside, and Artemis waiting for him to find the magic.
Yeah, thank you very much, BM.
Thank you.
Players, keeping me on my toes.
Alrighty, boys.
Have a good weekend, everybody.
Great playing
All
with
right.
you guys.
Nice. Take care.
Bye.